Today is Halloween, a night many of the kiddos in mid-Michigan have been looking forward to probably since last Halloween.
That's right. Tonight, many trick-or-treaters are going to be roaming the streets, collecting as much candy as they possibly can. But with all of the fun that comes with Halloween, it's also important that everyone stays safe. News 10's Isley Herschel is joining us live in studio now with tips from a local detective to keep your kids safe. Good morning, Isley.
Seth, Maureen, good morning. Lansing Township Detective Sgt. Volosky has 2 words for trick-or-treaters and for drivers: prepare and be aware. For drivers, that's being aware of kids on the street running around or trick-or-treating in an area that they're driving in. For kids, that means preparing your costume ahead of time with glow sticks so they're visible at night. And with the slightly older kids, making sure that they're aware of their surroundings and knowing the importance of saying no if they're asked into someone's car or house.
Somebody who just doesn't want to be rude, maybe invited inside of a house or invited inside of a vehicle by a stranger. Predators will prey on that kind of nature of not wanting to be rude, so we should definitely teach our children it's okay to say no. If this person's asking you something they shouldn't ask, you just say no.
Overall, Volosky says there aren't more incidents on Halloween compared to other days. He adds that making sure everyone's aware of the increased foot traffic helps keep everyone safe as well. Seth?
All right, Isley, thank you. Police also suggest checking your kids' candy for any wrappers that may have been tampered with or opened before they go and eat.